Newly sworn-in Attorney General Todd Blanche is already in the hot seat today. Yesterday on NBC's Meet the Press, the country's top prosecutor refused to say that he'll always act independently from President Trump. Listen.
No, I'm not going to pledge that. And no attorney general should ever pledge that. The president, if I were to pledge I will be independent of the White House, what that means is that if President Trump says, I want the Department of Justice to go after every violent criminal in this country, which is what he has said, what you're saying to me is I should say, no, sir, I'm not going to do it.
The AG shirking a post-Watergate norm, now renewing questions on President Trump's influence over the DOJ. Even now, his photo is still draped over the building's exterior. You see it here. For more on this, I want to bring in Katrina Kaufman. And Katrina, obviously you have a legal background here. So is the DOJ supposed to prosecute free from political influence? What is the norm here, and how significant is his response?
Chanel, ever since Watergate and what happened with President Nixon, there's been this special mindfulness, and there were reforms to make sure that the Justice Department remained independent from the White House. We're now seeing and hearing that permeated with Todd Blanche, now the Attorney General, formerly President Trump's personal attorney. And these words we heard him say over the weekend, although he did walk it back a little bit in another interview. Let's take a listen.
The president loves disagreement. I think he would expect me to tell him no. It's not whether I feel like I could. I think that the president, there's a misnomer about President Trump, which is that he calls me up, wakes up in the morning, calls me up and says, Todd, go prosecute this. That's absolutely not the case.
So we hear Todd Blanche saying that he is not getting specific directions from the president to prosecute anyone, although we did see with his predecessor, Pam Bondi, that happened on social media in front of all of us. Blanche also said the president has never asked him to do anything illegal or unethical. But, very interesting to hear from him right after his confirmation this weekend.
Let me ask you, Katrina, because the Attorney General says that he is not going to pledge to be independent from the President of the United States, and he points to an example, which, of course, everybody in America can get behind. You're going to go after violent criminals. Yes, of course, you should be doing that as the Attorney General. The question, of course, is, are you the president's lawyer? And the Attorney General is not the president's lawyer. In other words, if the president says, hey, I really don't like Jim Comey, because I think he doesn't like me, so I don't like him. I want you to investigate him. What is the Attorney General, under normal circumstances, supposed to do?
Under normal circumstances, the Attorney General and the Justice Department is supposed to make their own assessments about that. They are supposed to pursue the cases that they believe they should be pursuing, not what the president dictates or what the president tells them not to look into either, Vlad.
That's an important point. Okay, Katrina Kaufman, attorney and our CBS News legal reporter, thank you.
Thank you.